One moment while IBLC Chair Mr. Robbins joins the meeting again. One moment. Ms. Gray, would you like to call the meeting to order in Mr. Robbins's absence? Oh, there he is. One moment while he's admitted to the meeting. Mr. Robbins, we may begin when you're ready. I see that he's not connected to audio as of this time. It is still connecting. Okay, Mr. Robbins, you are connected. You may start.
Okay.
Ready.
I lost my audio, my picture both, but I got it back.
Okay, you may call the meeting to order when you're ready.
I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Insurance Benefits and Ledge Committee for Wednesday, March 2nd, 2022, 08:30 hours. Is there any other announcement that you have to make?
Yes, I do. Thank you,
Okay.
Chair Robbins. This meeting is being conducted virtually, so I will do a roll call of the trustees to confirm attendance. Ms. Ginsburg,
Here, good morning, everyone.
Mr. Santos,
Present.
Ms. Gray,
Good morning.
Mr. Bernstein,
Good morning, everybody.
Mr. Sanchez,
Hi, good morning, present.
Mr. Moore,
Morning.
Mr. Kehoe. Mr.
morning.
Okay. Mrs. Zapanta Alder, Mr. Pryor,
Good morning, everybody.
Mr. Harris,
Good morning.
Chair Robbins.
I am present.
Staff participating in the meeting include CEO Santos Kryman, DCEO Louis Lugo, AEOs JJ Popowich and Laura Guglielmo, Chief Counsel Stephen Rice, Legislative Affairs Officer Barry Liu, from Retiree Healthcare, Cassandra Smith, Director, and Kathy Magida, consultants Stephen Murphy, Richard Ward, Michael Zito, Stephanie Messier from Siegel. Trustees, please use the Zoom chat option to be placed in queue. At this time, we ask all meeting participants to mute your mics until you are ready to speak, and we may now proceed with the agenda.
Thank you very much. Item 1A is approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of February 2nd. I need a motion.
I'll move.
Are there any changes or corrections? Please call the roll.
Ms. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Kehoe,
Aye.
Mr. Moore,
Aye.
Chair Robbins.
I will abstain. I was not in the meeting.
Okay, the motion passes with one abstention.
Thank you very much. We're on to item 2, public comment. Do we have anyone from the public wishing to address the committee?
I have nothing.
All right. So we will go to action items. Item 3A, recommendation by Mr. Liu, Legislative Affairs Officer, that the committee review and recommend the Board of Retirement adopt the revised LACERA legislative policy. We have a February 15th memo in our jacket. I need a motion. Would someone like to make a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it. Is there any discussion?
Does anyone have, I'm sorry, Mr. Robbins, I have a question about the repeal or modification of the windfall elimination provision and also the government offset. Can you explain that, Mr. Liu?
Yes, good morning, Chair Robbins and committee trustees. Yes, so those two are the provisions that relate to Social Security and how government employees who have qualified for Social Security, but also qualify for a pension will have those two offsets against their benefits. So basically, the windfall elimination affects the member's benefit and can reduce a part of it due to the fact that they're getting a government pension, whereas the government pension offset can reduce or even eliminate the member's spouse's survivor benefit. So historically, LACERA has supported the repeal of these provisions, but the revision here would basically make those explicit in our policy.
Any other questions, Vivian?
One other question, will we still support the repeal of the windfall elimination in WEP?
Yes, we'll continue to do so, and we have done so. It's just that I thought it was a good time, at least for our policy, to explicitly reflect that.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Liu, what's your read on the status of that legislation at this point in time?
Based on my most recent conversations with Mr. Rhoda, those are basically being held up this year. So, he's not that optimistic about the repeal of these provisions, although we've also, worked with him and legislators on the modification of the windfall elimination. That would probably seems to have a better chance, but not so much this year. But generally, again, that's sort of that conversation and tension between a full repeal versus a modification of just a windfall elimination.
And the modification is strictly a prospective change, not a retroactive change?
Yes, that's correct. And that's true for both the repeal and a modification. I don't think historically anybody has talked retroactively, because that presents sort of a whole slew of issues as far as, well, how far back you want to go and who exactly would this apply to, people who are receiving benefits or survivor benefits. So it's definitely a perspective change.
So cutting to the chase, and the long and the short of this whole discussion is this is the same old chapter of these two issues every year. Every legislative session, every 2 years, the legislation gets introduced. Everybody in both parties signs on. Everybody's in supportive, and then it just dies a quiet death over in the corner and rots. I mean, it's it's just so disappointing. But thank you very much. We're on item 4A, engagement report. Mr. Liu.
We didn't vote. We didn't vote on this.
Oh, I'm
one.
sorry. Let's vote on it.
Ms.
Call the roll,
Gray,
Carrie.
Ms. Gray,
Aye.
Mr. Kehoe,
Aye.
Mr. Moore,
Aye.
Chair Robbins.
I'm an aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Now we're on to item 4A, engagement report. Mr. Liu, you're up again.
Thank you, Chair Robbins. Some items of interest for everybody here. So the Public Policy Institute of California, they do their periodic surveys about Californians and their attitudes about state and national issues. So currently California is considered COVID-19, homelessness, jobs, the economy, and inflation to be the most important issues for the government legislature to work on. As for other things, it seems to be generally pretty optimistic. Half of Californians think the state is headed in the right direction. Over 2/3 think that the worst of the pandemic is behind us. About half of Californians think the state is in a recession, but then that's a significant decline from a year ago in terms of how many people thought that. And then a majority of Californians approve of President Biden's performance. About 1 in 3 approve of the Congress, whereas approval for the California legislature is much higher. But of course, there's also a lot of partisan divide in terms of how satisfied people are with the way U.S. democracy is working. The next item is regarding an NCEPR's, their public retirement system study that they do annually. So they basically survey responses from about 156 state plans and state and local plans divided evenly that cover over 17 million members with assets of $2.6 trillion. So some of these statistics include the fact that, you know, the average one-year returns of these plans are 14%. And then there's also a slow ratcheting down of the assumed rate of return as we've seen over the years. It's fallen from 7.26 to 7.07. The average COLA was 1.7%. Overtime continues to be excluded from benefit calculation. So apparently there's still some plans out there that count overtime for calculations. Funds are also increasing their oversight practices, such as, you know, various audits and things to you know, manage the member data. But one of the things is more than half the funds report problems attracting and retaining staff. So that percentage grew from 28% in 2020, the first year of the pandemic, to 56% in 2021, which was last year. But overall, I think most funds are saying that they're confident in being ready to address retirement trends over the next couple of years. And then on that last point about attracting and retaining staff. So we've all heard about the Great Resignation. I think one of the statistics that's often quoted was, you know, something like 4.9 million jobs were lost last September. So a survey was done by Mission Square Research, which was formerly the Center for State and Local Government Excellence, which reports that about half of state and local government workers are considering leaving their jobs. And the way they're leaving would be either changing jobs, retiring, or leaving the workforce entirely. So as far as people who are changing jobs, the reason they cite are wanting a higher salary and benefits, feeling burned out, and also wanting better work-life balance. People who are retiring are also citing burnout and wanting to do things that bring joy, but also encountering tensions and working with the public, or if you're teachers, you know, with students' parents. And then those who are really leaving the workforce entirely cite added stress and concern about safety and thinking about what they want to do. So, you know, stress and burnout seems to be a theme, and, you know, the reasons why people are leaving their jobs here. And then finally, in our neighbor to the south, San Diego City, and Proposition B, you may recall Prop B was a ballot measure that passed in 2012, about 10 years ago. So in 2018, the Supreme Court ruled that the ballot measure was illegally placed, not so much on the merits of the proposal itself, but just the procedure and getting it to the ballot. And then in 2021, the ballot measure was invalidated. But over that time, there has been this process for the San Diego City Council to basically reinstate these benefits. So so the issue affects about 3,800 current and former city employees who began employment in July 2012. And so the city owes the members about 73 million in retroactive benefits, and they're also on the hook for 8 million court-ordered penalties. But the city council is basically negotiating with various employee groups on how to reinstate these benefits. So that concludes the report, and happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Liu? Well, we will move right on. Does that conclude your report, Barry?
I guess it does. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for the report. Item B, staff activities report for February, Ms. Cassandra Smith.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I have nothing to report on the staff activity report. However, I do plan on, during our renewal presentation, talking about retiree healthcare's workload and our increase in call volume, as there's charts in that memo that I'll be referring to. So I'll defer that till later.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go on to item C, claims experience. Mr. Murphy, I see you there. Good morning.
Good morning.
All yours.
Presentation will be brief. Anthem was unable to update this month's experience report. So we got those later after we made the distribution to LACERA. So we'll provide an updated experience report, complete experience report next month. So I wanted to just highlight one page, page 7, which is a review of the dental and vision experience. And the increase year over year looks pretty impressive. It's 22, almost 23% increase. But I just want to point out that we're comparing the current period, which is the period ending January 22, to the prior year, which had the bulk of the pandemic experience in it. If we take a look back at the period that's not exhibited here, LACERA's experience is basically running at or slightly below pre-pandemic levels. So no concerns there from our perspective, but just wanted to point that out. And that's all we'll highlight and turn it back to you.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Steve? I think that claims experience is pretty easy to understand and figure out too, because a year ago, you couldn't even hardly get into the dentist unless it was an emergency. So, and then you might not have been able to get in. So we're on ID, federal legislation, anything to report, Steve?
Nothing to report today.
Thank you very much. Too many things going on back there that don't have anything to do with us, I guess. Items for staff review.
We have nothing.
And we are now on good of the order. So start with you, Vivian.
Good morning, everyone. I woke up. I know my name and I'm still breathing.
Means it's a pretty damn good day, right?
Yeah.
JP?
I'll share Vivian's comments. It's good to be alive, and all is right with the world.
Battalion Chief Pryor, anything?
I'm glad Vivian and JP are still doing well and they're alive. But that's good enough for me.
Mr. Santos? Anything, Herman?
You're muted.
You're muted. Uh-oh, here we go. Got his ears on. We can't hear you though.
Unmute yourself.
We're still not hearing you, Herman. All right, we'll move on to Mr. Moore.
Everything is fine here. I'm following Vivian's lead. I woke up, hit the floor. I said, I'm alive. So hope everybody has a good day.
All right, Mr. Sanchez, anything?
No, thank you to everyone. Thank you for the staff. I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you, everyone.
Mr. Kehoe.
Everything's well on my side.
Did anybody else want to chime in? Mr. Lugo, Mr. Kryman, anybody have anything to say for Laura Guglielmo?
Just a good morning to everyone. Just good morning, everyone as well.
Morning.
Good morning.
All right, well, I guess with that, we're ready to adjourn and await the next meeting. So I'll accept a motion to adjourn the Insurance Benefits and Legislative.
So moved.
Thank you. I guess we're adjourned.